Welcome aboard. It's Captain G with Global War 85's Turning Point 2.3 Soviet Global. So before we jump into tech, we have to determine the random event. Red Caribbean is no longer a possibility because the PRF never formed in Central America at all. So that means we have two options, two random events this game. Last game, it was the Iran-Iraq War, so we're skipping that this turn, and we're doing a 50-50 chance for the Walker Spy Ring and the India-Pakistan border war. So we're going to roll one dice, 1 to 6. 1 to 6 is Walker Spy Ring. 7 to 12 will be the India-Pakistan border war. We're seeing this live via recording. That's a 10. That is a 10. So that means the random event is the India-Pakistan border war. Basically, Soviet covert action teams undertook a false flag operation that pushed India and Pakistan border tensions into a border war. India will be controlled by Soviet Global, and on this first turn must make one border attack and then may make any more border attacks in later turns as they wish. Pakistan, which already has a defense treaty with the U.S. because of the resolution of Afghanistan and its alignment to the Soviets. Pakistan now will be under the control of the U.S. and it may make a border attack, one attack per turn. Both sides may roll for release of battlefield nuclear weapons, and the number of dice that they roll is a cumulative total number of unit casualties in the war. And that's pretty much self-explanatory. When or if Soviet Global and U.S. Global are at war, then Pakistan will align to the U.S. and India will align to the Soviet Union. When India aligns to the Soviet Union, then Saudi Arabia and the UAE will sign defense treaties with the U.S. Okay? There are bonuses the Soviets get for controlling certain territories in this region now. The biggest bonus that they get is not for control. If the Soviets have as many or more surface ships, let me just confirm if it's as many or more. At least an equal amount. So as many or more, then surface warships, as the U.S. does in the Indian Ocean, so any sea zone starting with an I, then they get a -1 IPP discount for each surface ship, doesn't impact subs, produced at the shipyards in India or Pakistan. Okay, and the only other thing of note is, even though they're minor shipyards, Soviets are able to produce cruisers in these shipyards. It doesn't say battle cruisers. I'm not going to assume that it does say battle cruisers, but at least cruisers will be able to. Okay, so that's the India-Pakistan war. That does change my buy. I had two different scenarios laid out depending on what happens. I'm moving the Walker Spy Ring scenario off now to simplify things, but I got to check my notes. And okay. All right, so I will need to conduct a border attack. I'm going to do it after I finish the planning events. Hopefully I'll remember to do it before non-combat. So that was a 10. Ended up with India-Pakistan, which is cool because I've never done that as the Soviets. I've only done it one time, and that was as the U.S., and it didn't turn out so well. All right. So here are my texts. Let's do the text, shall we? As we sing a Soviet opera to the glory of the Indian soldiers and their upcoming victory. Tech 1 will be, where's Tech 1 on my notes? Here's PGMs, Tech 2 is AMD, Tech 3 is computers, Tech 4 is chem. Those are the same 4 as I rolled last time. The fifth Tech 12, is Top Gun. That's new because I upgraded the major army base in Murmansk from a minor to a major. So that's 5 dice, and only ASF is successful at a 7. Everything else needs an 8 or more. Or Top Gun. Top Gun. Okay, here we go. High numbers. Hello, low numbers. 2, 4, 3. That's disgusting and frustrating. 11 and 12. So Tech 3 is computers. I'll take that. I'm going to move from stage 1 to stage 2 in computers, but I really was hoping to have AMD done by now. I haven't even hit it once. And Tech 12 was an 11, so that is Top Gun. And the U.S. starts with that, and I move from stage 2 to stage 3. All right. So limited success, but I need to finish AMD. That's the one that impacts everybody's game once the war starts. All right, purchases. Let me bring you over. Pay no attention to what was going to be the purchase for the Walker Spy Ring. That's for me to know and you to find out. All right, I'm spending 6 on an amphibious assault ship, 4 on an MBT. That's 10. Spending 12 on 3 mechs and 6 on a next-gen MBT. That's 18, so that would have been 28, leaving me with 9, depending on which event. So the neutral symbol, that's kind of what that was for India. I'm sending a fighter to India using military aid. Based on the event, both the US and the Soviets are able to send 1 unit. And let's go over and let's look at what India curtails, because we're going to come over here in a second anyway and do the attack. So India is worth 1 for Hyderabad, 1 for West Bengal, 2 for New Delhi. Assam is worth nothing, and Kashmir, the one that they fight over all the time, is really worth nothing, which is ironic, don't you think? Isn't it ironic? All right, so that means they were worth 4. So that's 4 for the military aid. I only had to spend 4 to finish an Indian fighter. And then this is to move the Soviet supercarrier 1 stage from stage 3 to stage 2 on the build chart. And that cost me 5 IPP to move the Soviet supercarrier that starts the game on stage 3 to stage 2 on the build chart. All right, so we are done with the planning phase. We did our purchases, we did our tech. No global ops because I don't have any insurgencies, no Central America PRF. We are going to go direct to combat. We're not going to pass go, we're not going to collect $200, but we are going to do a border attack. So, anyone that hasn't seen this before, every land zone that borders Pakistan, the units in that land zone participate in the attack. The ASW helicopter will retire because it has no targets. The submarine is not up here. And then there is a river penalty that plays a factor here in this attack for India. So I'll have 2 artillery at 3. I'll have 4 MBTs attacking at 4 minus the river penalty. So they'll attack at 3. And then I'll have 1 mech coming out of the mountains attacking at 3 minus 1 attacking at 2. Okay. There is no terrain. There's a mountain border if you come in from Afghanistan, hypothetically. But coming this way, there's no mountains. It's just the river. And it's only 1 round of combat. So we set this up with my little homemade markers. 2 artillery for India, the mech at 2, the 4 MBTs at 3, the fighter, and then down here the Indian artillery, the 2 Indian MBTs at 4, the 2 Indian mechs at 5, and the Indian fighter at 6. Okay, so let's bring the big old battle board down, or the big battle box, kill box. All right, so I'm going to fire the Pakistan first strike artillery, 2 at 3. Wow, nice. Way to go, India. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So that's 2 first strike hits. Because it's a border war and everyone's going to get... well, I reached out to Tabletop Tactician beforehand, asking him a question about the fighter, but I didn't ask him his casualty order, and I wanted to record this turn and get it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume for now those 2 hits will be on the artillery, so they'll still be able to fire back. But if he does not want the artillery to take those hits, if he wants the MBTs or mechs or some combination, I probably wouldn't be these guys, probably would be these guys. Don't know. There are pros and cons to each. I'll let him decide, and then we'll just adjust. Okay, I'm going to roll for everything, and basically is what I'm saying, and then I'll let him pick, because that seems the fairest way to do it. Since so I've got 2 first strike hits, but I'm going to roll all of his units anyway. Here's my mech at 2 instead of 3. Here are 4 MBTs at 3 instead of 4, and a fighter, an air superiority against his fighter at 6. I'm also assuming his fighter wants to do air superiority and knock out my fighter is the assumption I'm going to make. All right, it's only 1 round of combat, but we'll figure it out. All right, so the fighter missed with a 7. The mech missed with a 9. 3 MBTs missed. 1 MBT got a hit, but not a target select. So that is a total of 3 hits against him. And I've already messed this up because I should have rolled his artillery. All right, so I'm going to roll his 2 first strike artillery, which I already rolled. Oh, this is horrible. All right, an 8 and a 1. So he did get a hit on me regardless, because I get a fire either way. So we'll do some dice calculations. So he got a first strike hit on me. Oh, boy, I'm a little rusty. All right, now let's roll him. He's got 2 MBTs, 2 mechs, and 1 fighter that's shooting at my fighter, I'm assuming. And again, I'll let him make some decisions, and we'll adjust. All right, so this is nice. 12, 12, 11, 10. But he has an MBT that got a hit, and it got a hit on a target select. So he could shoot, he could kill one of my mechs, he could kill one of my MBTs, or he could kill one of my artillery. That is totally up to him. So at the end of the day, there were 3 hits against Pakistan and 1 hit against India, and I'll confer off camera with Tabletop Tactician, and then he'll address whatever adjustments are needed during his turn, because he'll also be able to decide what, if any, action Pakistan wants to take. Do they want to attack or not? And that may depend on what he rolls. So he'll be able to roll for battlefield nuclear release 3 or less, because he took 3 casualties in this attack. And I'm going to get to roll my next turn with a 1, because I've only taken one casualty. See how that works? Okay, non-combat. We do have a handful of non-combat moves. Let me put you in a position of observation-ish. Observation-ish. Okay. Well, actually, the first thing I'm going to do, this was a missed non-combat move in the last video, but I caught it when I did my disposition of forces and included that. This is the ASW helicopter that starts in Cuba because of the ASW expansion. I sea lifted it to here. It's going to move 1, 2, 3 to A48, which allows it to go ashore in Angola. Angola. Okay, so now let me see if I can get you the booster seat for short cameras. Maybe this will help you with your superior observation point as we sing to the glory of the Soviet Union in the background. I'm using my microphone because I knew I'd be walking around the table. All right, and I'm going to, yeah, all right. So, that was the sea lift. I am also going to move, and this may be off camera because I don't know about the mid-Atlantic. A-19, I have a nuclear sub. I'm going to move it down to A-39. So both of the Soviet nuclear submarines are in the same sea zone. Both of them remain on silent running. A-19 to A-39. Apologies in advance if that's off camera. M2 diesel electric. The Soviet diesel electric submarine that's sitting there with the NATO fleet is going to move 3, 1, 2, 3 to I-5. 1, 2, 3 to I-5 in the Red Sea. I-5 diesel electric submarine. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, so that's sea lift and sea movements. In Leningrad, in this task force marker, we have a next-gen MBT that came up from Western Ukraine last turn, and it's going to move 1 to Murmansk. Murmansk, next-gen MBT. From Volgograd, on this card, the airbase there, I have four mechs. They're going to move 1, 2 to Moscow. 4 mechs from Volgograd through Smolensk into Moscow to join the Red Army Choir. The Marine that's in Moscow is going to move up to Leningrad. The Marine in Moscow is moving to Leningrad. All right. I have 1 air superiority fighter in Murmansk. It's going to fly to the Baltic states. Air superiority fighter from Murmansk flying to the Baltic states. Let me see. Next gen 4 mech. Oh, also in Volgograd, I have an air cav and an attack helicopter. They're going to move 1, 2, 3 using the bonus from the airbase. These are major airbase markers for me. And that's the air cav and the attack helicopter moving to Leningrad. Leningrad. Alrighty. And I'll do my recap status of forces at the end of the turn. And that's it. Those are all the non-combat movements. I'm going to go to place units for military aid. I'm going to go ahead and do that out of order. I'm going to produce the fighter here in Volgograd and fly it to New Delhi. I don't know when I was supposed to move non-combat, but I'm going to move this mech into Hyperbad with the MBT for perhaps next round's border attack. Who knows? So I don't know if India is on the screen. I should come back around and double check what you can and cannot see. I apologize. Oh, good. All right. So I moved the mech in non-combat, which I forgot to do. I don't know when they move compared to us. And then that's the new fighter military aid. The other purchases are the amphibious assault ship, which I'll place here in A14 off Leningrad Major Shipyard. I'll produce the MBT in Leningrad. MBT. I'll produce three mechs, and another next-gen MBT here in Murmansk, the major army base. That's 3 mechs and a next-gen MBT in Murmansk. All right. And I think that's it. Collect income. All right. So we're rapidly winding down. Yeah, all the other notes on my page are if I got Walker. So that doesn't matter because I didn't get Walker. So I have 37 IPP. There were no changes. Still have 37 IPP. So that's it. That's what 37 looks like. 25, 35, 36, 37. So some housekeeping with the India-Pakistan attacks. Make sure I'll confer with Tabletop Tactician, not only on this fighter, which missed anyway, so it doesn't matter, but I'll still give him the decision point. And then his order of casualties, because that could affect the roll. And these guys would have fired no matter what, and they got 1 hit. So if they got 1 hit, I got to double check because I think something else got a hit. Oh, we got a target select hit. So red is a target select. So I have 2 casualties. 1 that I get to pick and 1 that he gets to pick. All right, and we'll take care of that between now and the U.S. turn. So Tabletop Tactician in the U.S. is up next. This is Captain G. Over and out.